2 packages from the Jungle Sites. Let's open it up, see what's inside. Of course, you already know what it is. So what I have is fluid film black. So what is this stuff? This stuff is the same stuff that's used in them so-called professional undercoating services. You got fluid film stops, you got chrome, you got this, you got that, you got a few other things you can do, homebrew stuff, you know, all kinds of stuff. So where I work, I do some undercoating every year for the various pieces of equipment that have to be subject to the winter elements. So I spray this stuff on a regular basis. So for me, I got a little bit of a hybrid that I use at work. I use a 50-50 blend of fluid film, the standard fluid film, and bar and chain oil. And I just spray everything that is metal. You know, frames, A-arms, control arms, linkages, cables, whatever is metal, just spray it, because it, you know, being a salter or a plow truck or something like that, it gets rusty. It's going to get rusty no matter what. So I was looking at my own personal vehicle. It's a 2015 GMC Sierra, and you know, even your everyday normal daily driver, you know, gets subject to the salt and the corrosion and the rust and blah blah blah. So I got some, you know, surface rust starting on the you know, the frame and other little components and stuff like that. So I says I might as well stop it before any more progresses. And that's one thing to make note of, especially if you have a vehicle that's been in the salt. That salt is already deep in the metal. So no matter what you do, you're going to get breakthrough. And that's just the way it is. It don't matter whether you have it professionally sandblasted and painted, or have super etching primer and stuff like that. Doesn't matter. Once the salt is in the metal, that's it. It's done. You just, all you can do is slow it down. So the best thing to slow it down is to spray some kind of undercoating or oil. And, you know, you definitely don't want to be using, you know, old motor oil and stuff like that, like, you know, the old timers used to do in the past, because, you know, if you do that kind of stuff, and let's just say a trooper or a sheriff is behind you on the highway and his windscreen is getting pelted with oil, yeah, there is a chance that you can be pulled over for, you know, whatever the charge would be, you know, polluting, whatever, because, you know, you're spraying oil all over everybody's car and stuff like that. So you use the professional stuff, and this is, you know, pro shops use this stuff, so, you know, it doesn't have much, you know, throwback in the rain and stuff like that. It stays if it's not in direct sling of the tires, you know, where you get the slinging the water off the slinging of the water off the tires, and at high velocity, this stuff stays on frames for quite a length of time. So if it's buried in your fender wells and wheel wells hide most of the frame, this stuff will last quite a long time. And of course, where I've done it, it's the regular fluid film, so it kind of goes on clear and stuff like that. So fluid film makes a tinted version where you can hide all your rusty spots and make the frame nice and black again. And that's what I got. I got fluid film black. And it's powerful rust and corrosion protection, superior vehicle undercoating, protects all metals, lanolin based, no solvents, long lasting, non toxic, non hazardous. So all you do with this stuff, it's for home, automotive, farming, industrial, marine. You spray it on anywhere where there's exposed metal to cut down on the corrosion. And since this stuff is tinted black, if you already have a semi-black frame, you'll just make it all black. And anything else that's dark colored will be, black. So this is a unique wool wax based formulation. It's made from sheep. Lanolin. So it's the same stuff that's in some of the hand lotions and stuff like that, lanolin. And of course, this is protection for all metals and tack-free lubrication for moving parts, stops existing corrosion on contact, slows it down. Penetrates to free up heavily seized parts, always active. Fluid film does not dry out or readily washes off. Will not harm most paint, plastic, or oil-resistant rubbers. So that's one thing you want to be, mindful of is certain oil-based, petroleum-based oils will attack rubber. So you want to make sure that you avoid that kind of stuff and use the proper stuff. And of course, it's got the fluid film is a worldwide standard for corrosion protection, proven in the most severe environments. Fluid film starts working immediately upon application, creating a non-drying barrier of protection. Nothing protects longer. So this stuff never dries out. So what's nice is that, especially if you live on a dirt road, or you're in a lot of, if your roads are seldom swept or stuff like that, the dirt that actually will be attracted to this stuff actually helps this stuff stay on longer. So it's kind of nice. And of course, that one's got a label over it to read it. And this one's got a label over to read it. And this one's got a label over. They all got labels on it. So that's kind of a bummer. So I got 5 cans. Don't know if I'll use them all, but it's always handy to have. Too much than not enough. And of course, when you apply this stuff, if you can, you want to wash the frame off real well. Get all the heavy cow pies and mud and whatever else, and then give it a couple of days to dry. And then you just go under there and just go to town. Just spray everything that you can see. So it's cheaper to do at home than have it to professionally be done. Of course, it's you don't have a nice lift, so you have to crawl around on your back and on your side and stuff like that. So it's not a big deal. So we got that covered for that particular section here. So we'll have a nice little backdrop here. And then the second package is related to these cans. And it's one of them can triggers, so you can attach this to your spray can, so it makes it a little easier on your fingers and stuff like that. So this is a universal job sprayer, so you take a can, and it's got your traditional, tip on it, and of course, when they're brand new, they're just sort of sitting on there, so you can just give it a little and push it down. And then this thing, you just slide it over the can, so you give it a little angle job here, and it just slides right on the can. And of course, it's got to go over the little lip here. Just like such, and then you can see the little lever that just pushes down on the trigger there. push button there, and then you can just more ergonomical to use your spray cans. And of course, with any fluid film, you get this little straw. You can put the straw in so you can get into the little tight areas. And the little trick is that sometimes you can bend if you can bend the straw without kinking it, you can get into, you know, weird angles if you can manage to bend it. Sometimes you can find a piece of wire, stick it in the straw while you bend it, and then if you can manage to pull the wire out, then, you know, you can have a nice bent tip and stuff like that. So probably won't have a video on shooting, you know, a frame on a vehicle, because, you know, it's pretty easy to do. Whatever you can see, whatever you can spray, whatever you can spritz, it's easy enough to do. You know, it's a lot cheaper alternative than going to the professional shop and having to make an appointment and blah blah blah, and then have to, you know, deal with the after sales of every year. Hey, you know, you may need a renewal, blah blah blah. You can do it on your own pace, on your own schedule, on your own time. It's best to do it, you know, prior to winter, so, you know, where the weather is still decent outside, where, you know, it's not too cold, because this stuff does take a couple of days to set up, you know, where it really